The Senate has just passed the COVID-19 hate crimes bill. Spearheaded by Democrat Senator from Hawaii, Mazie Hirono, the bill seeks to condemn anti-Asian hate crimes during the COVID-19 pandemic. It says, there has been a dramatic increase in hate crimes and violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And this bill will streamline the reporting of anti-Asian hate crimes. It will also require the Justice Department to designate an official to review COVID-19 related hate crimes and provide additional funding for state and local resources. The bill passed by a 94-1 vote. Now, if you listen to the legacy media's coverage of this, you will hear them celebrate this as a win against racism. Yay, we're doing something to #StopAsianHate. The Democrats have come to save the Asians from vicious attacks against racist offenders. As an Asian American who's kept up with the coverage of these crimes, I'm sorry, this COVID-19 hate crimes bill is totally bogus. This bill will do nothing to actually stop violence and racism against Asian Americans. Look, I'm concerned about the surge in violence against Asians just like everyone else in the Asian American community. I want nothing more than for these thugs to stop beating up our elderly grandmothers on the street. These criminals need to be caught and prosecuted, but this will not do it. The Democrats are merely exploiting this violence against Asians, feigning solidarity with Asians to score political points. But they've done nothing to actually help Asians fight discrimination. Firstly, let's listen to how they framed the story. From Nancy Pelosi to Chuck Schumer to President Joe Biden, they blame the recent violence against Asians on white supremacy. They blame it on former President Donald Trump's hateful rhetoric, on his calling the coronavirus, oh my gosh, the China virus. Here's Senator Mazie Hirono talking about the bill.
These unprovoked random attacks and incidents are happening in supermarkets, on our streets, in takeout restaurants, basically wherever we are. These disturbing and horrifying attacks are in many ways a predictable and foreseeable consequence of the use of racist and inflammatory language like Chinese virus or Kung flu to describe the pandemic.
So that's what this is really about, scapegoating Donald Trump and their Republican opponents. Perhaps that's no surprise, considering what she said about Donald Trump and his supporters in the past.
And we should be dealing with the racism that is in our country, to which the president speaks to, because he has a base of supporters who are very anti-immigrant and white supremacists. That's a lot of his base, and that's who he speaks to. So the divisiveness continues.
I'm sorry, white supremacy is the least of my concerns. It's totally dishonest for Democrats to ignore the facts on crimes against Asians. Who are the perpetrators of most of the violent crimes against Asians? Blacks. And we can see it with our own eyes when these videos and news stories come up. They sure don't look like white supremacists to me. Could it be that underlying resentment, envy, and strife between minorities is the real cause of violence against Asians? As an Asian, you are more likely to be assaulted by another minority than you are by a white person. That's a fact. But Democrats pat themselves on the back for their stand against white supremacy and their courageous work to stop Asian hate. Now, two things could happen. If hate crimes get reported and collected through these new avenues, it will reveal the uncomfortable truth that the biggest group perpetrating these crimes are blacks. And this bill will inadvertently target the black community. Or it will be used merely as a vehicle for Democrats to criminalize certain narratives about the COVID-19 virus. The fact that it came from China, and it will just be another attack on free speech. The lone brave vote against this bill was cast by Republican Senator Josh Hawley. He said, "It's too broad. As a former prosecutor, my view is it's dangerous to simply give the federal government open-ended authority to define a whole new class of federal hate crime incidents. Exactly. I wish all the Republicans had his spine to point out the truth about this bill. And for that, he got lambasted by the media for being a racist. As an Asian American, I applaud Josh Hawley. I would have voted with him. Now, what's ironic is that Senator Ted Cruz introduced an amendment to this bill to make it illegal for universities to discriminate against Asian Americans. Now, this is the real systemic racism that Asians face in America.
My amendment, simply put, would prohibit institutions of higher education from receiving any federal funding if they have a policy or if they engage in discrimination against Asian Americans during recruitment, review of applications, or admissions. I urge the adoption of the amendment, and I yield the balance of my time to Senator Kennedy.
And guess what? Every Democrat voted against it. For all their talk about standing in solidarity with Asian Americans, when it comes to real solutions to battle actual systemic racism, Democrats won't do a dang thing to stop it. That is why I say Democrats don't give a rip about racism against Asians. Asian Americans need to look past their empty rhetoric. No, Democrats are not our friends, and I've had enough of their empty talk. Hi, this is Lisa Smiley. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and share it. Also, join my locals community at lisasmiley.locals.com, where I post exclusive content. See you there.